The next race is 63A. It is a House District race. The candidate who's seeking our endorsement today is Fabian Bean. Fabian, if you want to unmute yourself and give an introduction.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fabian Bean. Thank you so much for having me. I use he, him, his pronouns. I currently serve at the Minnesota Senate as a legislative aide to Senator Jen McEwen, where I've been leading the effort to create and organize support for the new legislative caucus that Dawson mentioned on the dedicated to passing the Minnesota Health Plan. My upbringing on a small sustainable family farm in rural Alaska with working class parents who can't retire and couldn't afford health insurance through my childhood instilled a value of caring for the planet and all our people. In college, I worked to address economic and food insecurity. I was drawn into the among my peers, but I was drawn into community advocacy here after seeing the injustice of the Muslim immigration ban and feeling seeing the pain that my community members were feeling. I've been a renter for 6 years in the Twin Cities, and without a car, I bike and ride public transit everywhere. As a young person, first among my legislative priorities is addressing the climate crisis. I think we need an immediate moratorium on new fossil fuel infrastructure. I'm working on legislation to do that with Senator McEwen right now. We also need to cut carbon emissions by 2030 and develop a union-led green jobs program like the Minnesota Green New Deal. And in all of this work, environmental justice needs to be first and foremost in mind to start to repair some of the harms done to the Black, Brown, Indigenous, and working class communities across our state. Healthcare is critically important as well. We've seen the rising costs and healthcare deserts growing across Minnesota. I mentioned that I spend a lot of time organizing around the Minnesota Health Plan, which would provide universal healthcare for all Minnesotans. We need to make sure that our healthcare coverage includes mental health care and is inclusive of queer and trans people. And it's clear that our community, especially here in 63A, demands racial justice and public safety reform. Ending qualified immunity, decriminalizing marijuana and expunging records, restoring the vote. These would be a start, I believe, in our community to come together and imagine solutions to the problems past and present as we work towards a more just and equitable future. And I look to them for leadership. There's so much more to do. We need to end the preemption of statewide rent control, raise the minimum wage, invest in public housing, support labor rights, and so much more. We live in the wealthiest country in the world. We know we have the means to build a government structure that works for all of us. We just need the political will to do it. In this district, in the last year's city election was split evenly on public safety and rent control. It's really important, I feel, that we have a leader who's going to stand with the working class on these issues. And I really need your endorsement to run and win a powerful working class campaign for South Minneapolis. So I really hope I can earn your support. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us today. The first question that we have for you is, how would you describe your politics and in particular your relation to the DFL? And how do you envision your relationship to future DFL leadership in the House?
In becoming involved in politics here in Minnesota, one of the ways, like one of the most easy ways to earn a living while doing the like political work, organizing work, is through the DFL institution, and so that led me to work for Senator Scott Dibble on his campaign, and then through that to work for Senator Carolyn Lane, retired in the Senate. But these last years, working for Senator McEwen since she was elected last year, I guess, is really more of the political home I like to be in. We work to bring the working class voice into the room, as Dawson mentioned, or Omar, his words. There needs to be more working class voices with the class analysis that takes the problems as they come, really gets to the bottom of their what is bringing them, and so much of the time there are things that seem good at surface level, but then when you really investigate the issues and how the bill is written, it's just yet another corporate bailout or something like that. And we need more people, I think, with the working class with them in the room, and in the House. We've got a couple strong leaders in that regard. I firmly believe that the people's politics are the popular ones. They're the ones that get us elected, get us doing all this work, and it's preposterous that they be left behind when these decisions are made. So I will work together with House leadership as I am able, but I am also not afraid to take a stand for the working people of Minnesota.
All right. The next question that we have is, what experience and roots do you have in your district that will make you a competitive candidate?
I've lived in this district for 3 years, in South Minneapolis for 4. I was fortunate to live in SD62 when Omar was running. So that was a great opportunity to get involved. But this district, this campaign, for one, is entirely grassroots. As a legislative aide, I don't really have that much of a public profile. The constituents I work for is Duluth, so I'm not really seen in that role in community. But if I am to succeed, it will be because of the relationships that I'm able to build in community here in 63A. And everything I do will be to make connections, help bring the community's voice into our politics, and hopefully build a successful campaign through doing so.
The next question we have is, what is your general theory of how change happens? And if elected, what would you see as what would you like your relationship with TCDSA to be?
As Shay said, change is led by the people. We see that with this wave of unionization across the country and here. And I think we also see it in the climate issue, climate crisis, especially among younger people. What we do now determines what our future looks like. And as I said, I rely on the community to support me and be in the room to help me make these decisions. I hope that TCDSA will be an integral part of that. I really admire the organizing work that TCDSA has done these past years, and the huge electoral successes that you've had. I want to closely collaborate and really lean on TCDSA to help me stay in tune with the community, help me do that outreach work. And then I also want to use the platform of a candidacy, or if successful, office, to help develop organizing talent and help amplify the voices of working class community members and leaders, and even help people get into elected office who share socialist values. And I hope to collaborate in that work with TCDSA.
Then the next question that we have, if elected, how will you maintain accountability to the movement in your constituents and use your influence and power to those ends?
As I said, this is a grassroots campaign. I can't say enough how much I rely on real community support for this campaign to succeed. I guess, yeah, I don't know how to, I just, yeah, I try to always, I mean, I always do look to what the community's saying whenever I need an answer, whenever I need a solution. If this campaign is successful, it will be because of the community. I have no illusions that an elected official is somehow separate or different, you know, like yeah, if I'm not in tune with the community, I hope that someone will shake me out of that. And I think the electoral process should be used to for people, including myself, who no longer reflect the community. And I lost the rest of the question. I'm sorry.
No worry. We'll move on to the next one then. The next question, would you be in support of, or would you propose a bill that ends cash bail?
Absolutely. This last legislative session, the GOP attacked cash bail, and Senator McEwen, as a former public defender, is a leading voice on the importance of cash bail organizations under the current system, because she's seen firsthand the justice system delivering injustices left and right, and how it cash bail especially can be used to continue cycles of poverty and oppression. And slipping my mind, but I'm pretty sure we were looking at writing a bill on this, but it sounds like I should reach out to Zainab from the official side to make sure we're in line there. But yeah, 100%, the system is broken. We need that reform along with so many more to even begin to address the injustices, especially around racial and economic injustices in our system.
All right, and then the final question that we have, considering the opposition both outside of and inside of the DFL, how will you support and look to advance the Minnesota healthcare plan?
As I mentioned, I'm leading the efforts in the staffing role as to organize among legislators and with supportive unions, with advocacy organizations, to organize this Minnesota Health Plan Caucus, which sole goal is to pass the Minnesota Health Plan once and for all. This caucus, Senator McEwen and Senator Fate, newly elected, wanted to jump in and build something. We weren't able to do it last year, but this summer I've picked up the threads where we left them, and we're excited to announce its formation on the 26th this month. I hope you'll all join us at the state capitol to help show community support for it. As Dawson said, we plan to barnstorm, really help educate around the state on what the Minnesota Health Plan is and does. I think this is critical legislation on an economic justice standpoint. The capitalist system of healthcare has imploded. You know, we're watching it implode. 2 hospitals have announced they're closing this month due to unprofitability. Just compounding healthcare deserts across our state. Currently, Duluth is the only birthing center and has the only birthing center in a hospital or clinic or anything in the entire Northwest triangle. It's preposterous. People have to drive 6 hours to get birthing care.
Absolutely, sir.
So yeah, I can't say how important, or I can't emphasize enough how important the Minnesota Health Plan is to address geographical and economic injustices in the healthcare system. And I'll do everything I can to support its passage, but I think it really like as people have said, it stems from the people, and we need to help the people learn how to advocate for it and help us push it across the finish line in the legislature.
That was the last question that we have. And with that, Fabian, thank you for joining us.
Thank you all so much.